Hello, everyone. Welcome to this meditative life. And today is a guided meditation that is looking to the aspect of wisdom and how it can support us in communication. So I think that we've touched on this earlier around how being aware of perception, thought, belief, opinion, being able to really challenge our assumptions, to be able to look, using the analytical mind, to be able to look and to see what's true. And so often when we do this, we see that we are attached to things that really just randomly go through the mind, or ways that we fixate on being right, being perceived as good, being perceived in a certain way. So there is so much that wisdom can support us in, right from knowing that that knot in our stomach when we feel something is a signal. What's happening here? And being able to look what's happening in this moment. So, just giving a few moments for people to turn up. And if you're here, please do feel free to put your name in the chat box, say hello. Happy that you're here today. And that in just a few minutes we will get started. But you can, while you're waiting, just really take a few moments to arrive here, in front of the screen. You don't have to be looking at the screen. You can simply be listening, whatever works for you to stay present. And, just letting yourself arrive, bringing the mind and the body together. Okay, so I think we're live, okay? And yes, hello to Sweden. Wonderful that you're here. And I think we will get started. Okay, so once again, finding your posture. And just feeling yourself sitting where you're supported by the earth. Your back is upright, yet the muscles are relaxed. You can either close your eyes or having them open, allowing the gaze to soften. Sitting without any focus. And then taking a moment to touch into your motivation. And seeing if you can let this motivation move beyond the limited sense of self and include all beings who are just like us in wanting to be happy and free from suffering. Just establishing this wish, this intention that we will do this practice, turning up the best that we can, so that we can help to alleviate our own suffering and the suffering in the world. then rest in open awareness. You can let all your sense doors be open. And yet, simply rest without focusing on any aspect of these experiences. Just rest in the presence of everything that is. If you feel like you need a little support, you can use the breath. Just feeling the in-breath and the out-breath. And then bring to mind a situation where you had some communication that didn't go well. And this can be not the worst communication that you've ever had, but just something that was quite unsatisfactory. And so get in touch with the situation, the environment in which you were in, the people who were present. And the content of the conversation. And as you do so, see if you can notice at what point you may have realized that things weren't going well, that tension was mounting. What was happening there? Maybe there was body sensations that let you know a tightness in the chest or a clenching in your jaw. Maybe there was a surge of energy as anger flooded your body. Just get in touch with these feelings that were signaling to you the wisdom of the body, the responsiveness that happens in connection to our world around us. And notice what was happening in your own mind. Maybe expectations were being dashed when things were not going the way you wanted. Maybe you strongly disagreed and had a sense that you were right. You felt belittled, looked down upon, unseen. And look and see, were there any assumptions that you were making? You assumed what they meant without asking questions to clarify. You assumed you were right. You had assumed they would understand you without your clarity. What happens as you see these assumptions? Or maybe there's something that you are holding on to. The need to be heard. The need to have your needs met. The need to be seen, to be right. Just looking in a non-judgmental way. Looking to what was transpiring here. What you may not have seen that was present. Maybe there's some beliefs you are carrying about the person you're disagreeing with. But just looking with interest, curiosity. Was our lens covered by having this person locked in a box of who we thought they were? And the experience didn't match. If something else gets triggered, can we look at this with interest and curiosity? How are we getting hooked? Having interest in the very hooks themselves. A belief, view, opinion. Are these beliefs true? Real? Solid? Or are they simply conditioned responses? If the situation dissolves, simply rest in open awareness for a time. And when you feel to, you can either go back to the same situation or bring to mind another situation. And just notice, does the sense of right loosen up? Maybe even evaporate? Or maybe become stronger? If it becomes stronger, keep asking questions, looking to this hook. Can we see other possibilities? Do beliefs seem as true as they seemed in that moment? Or as we look now, can we see that there may be other ways to view this? Communication is immensely complex, and yet, through a sense of presence, openness, we can find ways to be at home and at ease. Even with disagreement. When we touch into our boundless nature, it becomes a play. A potential, a possibility. When we get caught looking to this interest, curiosity, what's really true? And then letting go of any reflection and simply rest in the open ease of awareness. If any emotions are present, simply allowing them to be just as they are. And then taking a moment to reflect on how you may have contributed to confusion, uneasiness. Maybe there was even some harm in your communication with others. And yet, you can appreciate that through your practice, through your inquiry, you're seeking to learn, to grow, to deepen your understanding, and how this is a courageous act of the heart. And then taking a moment to again remember that we have a good intention in doing this practice, regardless of the result that we perceive, that we can wish that whatever benefit comes from this can ripple out and help to alleviate the distress in the world and contribute to peace and harmony amongst all beings. Okay, so wisdom. There's a lot, actually. There's many levels to wisdom that one could go into in communication. And I do hope to explore that somewhere at some point. But for now, just that willingness to look and see thoughts, beliefs, perceptions. Are they true? Is there anything we're holding on to? Using this mind of inquiry not as a way of judging ourselves, but as a way of simply seeing. And as we see, the space opens up. That if as we're looking, if we're listening at the same time. Now this comes back to what I've spoken before about analytical meditation, that it really is that turning the lights on in the mind. As we can do this in the midst of our communication. Somebody says something that sets you off, look right there. What's the assumption? Is there an assumption? Is there a belief? Is there an attachment to this? These are really great questions to ask ourselves in the heat of the moment. And it doesn't take much, just the remembering to do this. But as we do this, I encourage you to be patient with yourself, that we will make mistakes over and over again. We will cause harm where we really never intended to, and yet it just didn't go right. And, this is all what we have to work with. But if we just have that willingness, that courageousness to keep looking, to keep investigating, not by way of trying to analyze it to death, but to look to see what was happening right here in the midst of our experience. So, thank you for those of you who've been here today. If you have any comments, and whether you're listening to this now or later, please feel free to put those in the chat box. It's always great to hear from you and any reflections that you might have. So I wish you a good week. Thank you.